Good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Can you hear us?
I can very well.
Thank you. Just checking live stream, Anthony.
Okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 9:58 a.m. Hi, everyone. I'm Melinda McGregor. I'm sitting in for Joe Greco, who's away today as your chair. We also have Frank Bruni sitting over to my right, and Michelle Kelly, our secretary treasurer, Jonathan for planning, and then we also have Anthony, another committee member on Zoom.
Madam Chair, I'll just start things off with the land acknowledgement. I acknowledge with respect that we're in the Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Bawating. Bawating is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. Madam Chair, could I have a motion for the minutes of the last hearing? And that would have been September 4th.
Okay,
Forward.
motion put forth from Frank to
I will
accept,
second the motion, Madam Chair.
and second by Anthony, and all in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. We'll move to the first matter on our agenda, and that would be application A2224. Trevor Brown is representing the Algoma District School Board on this application, and in specific terms, it's H.M. Robbins School property. The property is known as Civic Number 83 East Balfour Street. It abuts East Balfour Street to the north, Roll Avenue to the east, Laurier Avenue to the west, and Asquith Street to the south. It is designated residential in the official plan and is zoned I institutional. Relief is requested from the provisions of bylaw 2005-150 as amended by permitting parking in the front yard abutting East Balfour Street, specifically section 5.3.3 of bylaw 2005-150. No parking shall be located in a required front or exterior side yard, including the highway zone and institutional zone. The applicant is requesting that we permit 17 parking spaces to be located in the required front yard, and that would be off of East Balfour Street. Notice of public hearing was sent by personal mail to neighboring properties by posting a sign on site, posting on the city website. No public input was received on this application at the time of writing my report, and I see only the agent in the gallery, so I suspect there's no input today either. Public input. As part of the application review, this proposal was circulated to the following internal departments and external agencies. Building Division did not respond, nor did Engineering. Fire Services had no comment. Legal Department had no comment. PUC had no comment. Electric, Public Utilities Commission for Water had no comment. Public Works had no comment. Planning staff noted that the application proposed an extension to the existing school parking lot. Planning staff have no objections. However, the applicant is encouraged to maximize the width of the grass strip where possible to enhance landscaping potential. And Madam Chair, at this point, there's no evidence of any objection to the request, and those are my submissions.
Okay, and who did you say we have?
Trevor Brown. And if you come to the podium, and that's not Trevor.
Oh, that's George.
No. We need to just move forward.
Okay, so without
Take
anyone,
my glasses.
without anyone here for the application, does any committee of members have any questions?
None for me, Madam Chair.
Okay, then we'll close the discussion and ask for a motion.
I'll put forward a motion.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Anthony, and all in favor?
In
Okay,
favor,
motion
Madam Chair.
carried. Perfect, motion carried. Thank you.
You. If I take my glasses off, I can see the gallery. Moving on to the second matter on our agenda, and tab 2 and tab 3 are a tandem application, both a minor variance and a consent. The consent is to create a lot, but in order to do so, they need minor variance approval. So we will do the minor variance application first. And it's application A2424. 2707728 Ontario Inc., which is Crimson Ridge Golf Course, is the owner of the property known as 418 Fourth Line West. It is located on the north side of Fourth Line West between Goulet Avenue and Brule Road. It is designated rural area in the official plan and is zoned PR Parks and Rec. R3 with a special provision being low density residential with a special exception, and EM environmental management. Subject to final consent application B2124, relief is requested from the provisions of bylaw 2005-150 as amended by reducing the lot frontage abutting Fourth Line West to facilitate the construction of a new residential dwelling. Specifically, section 9.5.2 requires a minimum lot frontage of 45 meters. The applicant seeks to reduce the minimum lot frontage abutting the travel portion of Fourth Line West to 23 meters. Notice of public hearing was sent by personal mail to neighboring properties by posting a sign on site and by posting on the city website, and no public input was received at the time of writing this report. As part of the application review, this proposal was circulated to the following internal departments and external agencies for their review, and the comments pertain to both applications. Algoma Public Health didn't respond, and I presume that's because it will be municipally serviced. Building Division had no objection. Engineering and Construction, I'll read their comments in a minute. Fire Services, no comment. Legal Department, no comment. PUC, Electric and Water didn't respond. Public Works had no comment. Engineering staff advised a sanitary service study to the satisfaction of the Director of Engineering or their designate is required. The servicing study must determine the downstream impacts on the low-pressure sanitary system and whether the system can handle the increased flows from the proposed development, and a lot grading and drainage plan must be completed by a lot grading professional to ensure that drainage is dealt with appropriately. Lot grading professionals must be a professional engineer, civil, architect, or an Ontario land surveyor experienced in lot grading design. Planning staff advised that on September 9th, 2024, City Council approved single detached to rezone a portion of the Crimson Ridge Golf Course from Parks and Recreation Zone to a state residential zone with a special to permit the construction of a single detached home. Additionally, a special exception was granted to reduce the minimum lot area requirement to 0.378 hectares. The council's approval will be in effect in late October if no appeals are submitted before the appeal window closes. As such, planning staff support the request to sever this portion of the subject property. The severed and retained lot are compatible with the area and no impacts are anticipated. The proposed lot does not fully align with the public road due to the lot slightly flaring inward and away from the road. This is not a noticeable deviation, nor is it anticipated to pose any impact. Planning staff have no objection to this request. As part of the rezoning application and in response to concerns expressed in the rezoning process, the applicant's consultants preliminarily indicated that there would be negligible impacts to the existing sanitary force main from adding the proposed single detached development. The city's engineering department will likely require a more detailed capacity study as a condition for the severance. Staff comments, recommendations, no evidence of objections to the request. Engineering provided conditional support. Recommended conditions of any approval are obtain final approval of a rezoning application A1124Z, provide a sanitary servicing study to the satisfaction of the Director of Engineering or his designate, obtain approval from the Director of Engineering or his designate of a lot grading and drainage plan completed by a lot grading professional. And those are my submissions, Madam Chair. Now we move to the consent. And I won't describe the property again. I'll just describe the measurements. So the severance is intended to be 62.44 meters by approximately 73 meters in length and be approximately 0.378 hectares in size. The retained land will have 440 meters, irregular shape, and it's approximately 121 hectares in size.
Mhm.
The intent is to create one additional estate residential lot. And there were no additional comments to the application other than what I've already read. Although the conditions to be attached to the consent are different than what it would be to the minor variance. So Madam Chair, would we want to deal with the minor variance motion now? And then
Sure.
I'll mention the conditions for the consent.
Sure, that works. Okay. So is there anyone who was speaking to the application today? Okay, Sheila? Yep.
She's here if we have any questions.
Okay. Does any, or do the committee members have any questions for Sheila?
Just curious, I can't decipher exactly where it is on this.
That
Is
is,
it right?
that-
Just so I'm clear, I'm assuming it's right here. Yeah, so I'm looking, right? Yeah. Here?
it's right here.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks.
Submitted shows the lot to be created, but because the property is so vast,
Mhm.
it's just blank beside it.
Yeah, yeah, it just.
Yeah.
Pinpoint, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for?
None,
Sure.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll close the discussion and ask for a motion.
Put a motion. Accept with the conditions noted.
Okay, thank you, Frank, and a second.
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
A second by Anthony, and all in favor?
In
Okay,
favor,
motion
Madam Chair.
carried.
Sure, I'll just reiterate the conditions for the consent. There would be a requirement for a payment of transfer review fee, provide a transfer deed of land for certificate of official, provide a reference plan, provide PIN abstract and a PIN map, a current one, final approval of minor variance application A2424, discharge of charge of mortgage, partial discharge of charge of mortgage, payment of taxes, provide a lot grading and drainage plan to the satisfaction of the Director of Engineering or his designate, provide a sanitary servicing study to the satisfaction of the Director of Engineering or his designate, and obtain final approval of rezoning application A-11-24Z. And those are my submissions.
Okay. Do we have to, or any more questions? Yeah, is there any more questions?
None, Madam Chair.
Okay, well, we'll close the discussion and ask for a motion.
Yep.
Okay, with the conditions?
Conditions as noted.
Perfect, thank you, Frank.
Second the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, second by Anthony, and all in favor?
In favor, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Just a reminder that our next meeting is on
Ninth.
the October 2nd.
Yep.
Oh,
Thanks, Anthony.
thank you. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you. You too.